Hey, what's up, everybody? We are online. Invite. So, we're going to bring Deanna on real fast, who is our yoga expert. Hey, Deanna.
Hey, hey.
What's up?
Oh, nothing. Just finished a yoga class, so looking
Of
forward to
course.
this. Of course, typical.
Right. Yeah. So, I guess we should start off with some introductions. I'll allow you to go first.
Cool. So my name is Deanna. I am a human being, but I also am a yoga instructor. I am a firm believer in just bringing goodness to the world and just help any way we can. I feel like we're all just naturally very dysfunctional people. So,
Right.
um, yeah, I just like to make light of it and make people feel good. So I'm in the health and wellness biz. I'm from Oklahoma, but have lived in other places and been able to experience and encounter lots of different dope human beings and
Mm.
environments. And now I'm back in the roots of Oklahoma, which is honestly a pleasant surprise. Oklahoma is sick AF now. Like I
Right.
really am
Right.
digging it. So I am here now teaching yoga to whoever wants to learn.
Yeah, I know you're doing that because you're, hosting all the free classes and stuff, which I've dropped in on,
No
and
doubt.
nothing better than getting together with some people in the sunshine and doing some mental health, wellness, and physical stuff too.
For
Uh,
sure.
yeah, so I guess I better introduce myself too. I'm Dr. Benjamin Morrell, and I am a lifestyle physician and really life coach and confidence coach is what I'm doing for the most part right now. But similar mission to you is I'm just here to spread good vibes backed by good information because I'm sure you've experienced this whenever we get into the yoga world. Some of the alternative medicines, you get a lot of quackery, a lot of kooks too. So
No doubt.
we really want to make sure that we back the things up that we say and do with some level of credibility, and I think that's why this conversation is going to go really well because I was swiping through the research on the way before this conversation so we could get real with it. So we'll go with some
Sure.
initial questions. So like what change, like what busted you or brought you into the yoga scene? What led you wanting to pursue a relationship with your body, mind, and soul?
No doubt. That's a great question. So for a typical young 20-something-year-old female, you go through a breakup and it either makes or breaks you, and you're like, what the fuck am I doing?
Right.
Also, I cuss. So brace yourself, audience.
Open honesty.
Super zen, super zen. But at the time, like therapy wasn't really something I was familiar with or knew much about. And I didn't really at the time have accessibility to it or know what the heck to do with that. So I decided to try out a yoga class and was like,
Mhm.
this could be similar. This might be able to help me. And I'm not gonna lie, the first time I did a yoga class, I was like, this does not make any sense. This is some
Right.
weird shit.
Right.
I don't understand. What the heck are they saying? Be in tune with your body, be present. What does that mean? So I wasn't like really into it at first, but then I was like, let me give it another shot. Let me go to a different teacher, try it out. And the woman that was the teacher, her name is Victoria. She's probably around like my age or so, but like, man, her words and how she explained things was just like, it just hit me in the best way, like a ton of bricks. And I was like, whoa, this is
Mhm.
something special. This could go somewhere. So then I started like a lunatic, heavily like practicing into it and submerging myself in it. And then I ended up very sporadically like living or moving to Los Angeles. And there I was working in healthcare in the hospital setting, and it just wasn't fulfilling me. I was waking up every morning and like not liking what I did. So I ended up getting trained in yoga and got my certification through a yoga studio in LA that I was practicing heavily at. And then after that, it was magic from there. Just
Blast off. So you had
blast
a back,
off.
you had a yeah, because you had a background. You had was it your master's degree? Or you working
No, no,
towards
no.
it?
I was in school for a little bit, but never finished per se. Like I just wasn't something I was really, I don't know, I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do.
Right.
But one of my homegirls, my best friend, she hooked me up with an awesome freaking job at OU. And that's how we met, or somewhat through OU.
Yeah.
But, and then there I was like, whoa, like OU really like kicked it off for me. I really liked it, like the environment and everything like that. And I was like, okay, healthcare could be kind of cool, whatever. And then, whatever. And then I freaking moved to LA, and like the healthcare system there is lit, and I'm going to leave it at that. You can take it however you want. And I decided like, okay, I like health and wellness, but let me shift into what resonates more with me and what I can get behind. And so that's how I got into like more holistic and yoga and whatnot.
So
like
what are the major changes that you noticed with, because I know you said that, you know, there were the options were like not therapy because you can't afford it and we don't have the resources. And I want to say that was the same case for me too. Second of all was like the level of ego involvement was I was just not about to go see a therapist.
Right. Yeah. Because at that time too, like of course with social media, it's incredible. Like we've been able to normalize it and hype up therapy. Like I'm a huge advocate for it. But like, honestly, like 5 years ago when this was happening, like, it was still like a shameful thing to do, or show that you were weak. And so like, I just didn't even want to express that to my family, to be like, hey, I'm not doing well and I need help.
Especially in Oklahoma, we're the number 2. We're second from the bottom in terms of worst mental health and some substance abuse issues. So
no doubt.
It's a cultural thing out here.
For sure. And I think that's why we're in this field, is to make it normalize and to, you know, make it so it's like, or just make it, I don't know, more common and more safe of an atmosphere of like, yo, this is chill. Like it's good. It's necessary to get therapy or whatever help you need to neutralize the craziness going on in our minds, because we're all freaking crazy. It's just, you know, how do you control it when you need to, you know?
And I think that's what, so to me, whenever I started doing yoga back in like early college or in college, and then really in medical schools when I really stuck to it. But ultimately, I came to realize I was like, this is therapy. Like this is literally like developing a relationship with you, your community, how you work, how your body works. And to truly sit and be present with uncomfortable things, and then to also sit and be comfortable with like really, really pleasant things.
No doubt.
Your body. So it really, really boosted up a lot of how I feel about things. And whenever I looked into the evidence about it, because that's where my mind went at the time. I was, Western medicine. I was like, all right, where's the evidence? And it's nothing but positive things. And at the time, I was really looking for help with trauma. Because I would say my primary background is in like PTSD, and I had some of that in the background. And I was seeing the relationships with like controlling our nervous system and how trauma messes up our nervous system.
No doubt.
Yeah. So like when you snap your fingers when somebody has PTSD, like or you open
triggers,
the door, and then I started examining that in myself. And I was like, oh goodness, like this is going on for sure. And then as I evolved through the yoga practice, I had to sit there and truly be quiet with myself. And then as I was holding a pose, a flashback would come back, something from the past.
Yeah.
And it would hit me and I would feel my body melt in my pose.
Ooh.
And then I would have to recorrect myself and to recenter. And really what it did was it taught me to meet it, to stick with something bigger than it, and be consistent. And ultimately, the more that I did that and did that, my posture improved, my awareness, my feelings, and ultimately I feel like I can control my nervous system and my breathing so much better. But that's my mental health development. What was yours like?
Yeah. So I'm going to add to that. But it's essentially like with mental health and just evolving and growing in general, even with yoga, even with the mind, body, soul, everything, to heal, you have to unlearn things and then to relearn in a different way. So essentially what you were talking about, what you explained through your process is exactly that. And it comes from repetition, just like learning a freaking new language. You're not going to pick it up at the drop of a dime. You got to practice at it. And then before you know it, you're fluent and it's effortless. That's the same with healing and getting through trauma and coping and everything like that. But For me, I found my potion is therapy and yoga. I think they go hand in hand together, honestly. And something like, honestly, yoga is what opened me up into exploring therapy, and figuring out, like, okay, I have trauma. It's deeper than the physical thing. I physically know where I'm holding it and I can hold space, but how do I work through and heal from that trauma? And therapy is what I had to get into, to figure out those things. And let me tell you, it's fucking so uncomfortable. And it's like, oh my God, I was hiding or holding all that stuff. So I think therapy most definitely helps with the mental part of it, as well as yoga. I feel like they are just literally like yin and yang together. But for me personally, like, physically, I think I was able to heal first and then mentally. But with yoga, I was able to, like, you hold stress in different parts of your body, especially in your neck, especially in your hips, even in your jaw, really. So sitting in these poses for a longer amount of time, you're able to actually, like, one, it's fucking uncomfortable, but once you're able to sit and hold space and slowly release and just let it be what it is, just like with any uncomfortable situation in reality, it's actually not so bad, and you're able to then really process and work through whatever avenue or whatever uncomfortability you're going through. So yeah, I don't know if that answered your question or not, but
no, that was really good. That was really
cool.
good. And I think one thing that I wanted to definitely accomplish during this interview was, we both, successful people that are coming from a background of, some of that trauma, mental health stuff. And then what I want to explain to the people is how yoga impacts on a day-to-day, on a moment-to-moment basis for some of these things we've been struggling with. And whenever I was looking through the research, one of the things I had saw was an improved self-confidence. And I'm a confidence guy. That's what I'm hanging my hat on right now, and that's exclusively because I saw so many people. Everybody has dreams. Everybody knows what they should do, and yet they don't.
Right.
And a lot of people mark that up to laziness. I don't really do that. I think it's because they never took that initial step towards it and proved. It's called a proof of concept, that if I engage in this action, I get this outcome. So whenever I started my yoga practice, first of all, I started off with mobility because I wouldn't admit that I was doing yoga. Right. Body work or some kind of other bro name. But ultimately what it was the development of confidence in a couple of realms. So the first one was holding the space with my own weakness and uncomfortability. Because I was a grown man. I'm a college athlete. I'm a born and bred killer. And I was trying to hold chair pose and just getting wrecked. And all these dainty girls are around me just
crushing it.
Flexing on me. And I was like, oh my God. I must look so stupid. And of course, no one in the room is thinking about that. Nobody besides me. So then I realized, okay, Benjamin, you have an ego problem. That's part of what this is addressing. So really having to scale back, that level of ego that is not chill. Second thing was holding that space with that negativity and proving that if you can sit with it and just and be with it and push through it, like my pigeon pose, glutes. Like, oh my God, I've never done that before. So, I was crying, but after you do it for a while, you feel incredible. And then you get up and I could move like I could never move before. So it was literally, it's called proof of concept, where I was like, oh wow, like work actually leads to results. And if I actually do it, I actually get better.
Crazy concept. It's so simple, but like we always complicate it. One thing I love about, or that I teach the students, and like first and foremost, it's being in tune with yourself, but like yoga can be incredibly intimidating to a lot of people. Shit, it can be intimidating to me. So the first and foremost thing as a teacher is for me to hold space and to build up your confidence, or for you to hone in on your confidence. It's already there. You just have to tap in with it, right?
Right. That's what I've been doing with people.
It's all about tapping in.
Like, I'm not teaching you or showing you anything that's not already within you.
Exactly.
Pull it out.
Yeah. Exactly. Sorry, you just gotta tap into it. And the example I always use is fucking pigeon pose, to use it on and off the mat. And so when you're in pigeon pose and you see the faces on people, they're clenching their jaw, they're breathing all choppy and whatnot. And I'm like, all right, let me pinpoint these people and let me confidently cue them and embrace and acknowledge, like, yo, what you're doing is totally fine. Like, don't be insecure. Don't let your ego take over. Quiet the mind, quiet the ego, so you can create ease and space. And this uncomfortable pose will actually be quite pleasurable at the end of it. And that's just like with life. You go into a situation that is incredibly uncomfortable. You're resisting, you're tense, you're in your head, your ego is on fire. But if you're able to create this space, tap in, the situation that's uncomfortable might not be as uncomfortable as you once thought it was. You know, once you're able to pull back, create space, and ease into it. It's just like with freaking yoga poses, you know, like you got to start somewhere. Be confident with where you start and be confident with where you end. You know, like you're exactly where you need to be. And yeah, that's what I try to embrace with every class is like tap into your confidence, because what you're doing, you're moving. Your mobility is there. That's impeccable. There's a lot of people that can't even freaking move, you know? So like the fact that you're even here and showing up for yourself, you're a sick ass human being.
Yeah,
you are dope as fuck.
Yeah, you're a star.
Yeah.
And that's in the minimal, you know, is being able to engage. And the thing that we have with us everywhere that we go is our body, our vessel. And some people are so, you know, they're so disconnected from it. And even I was. Like, you know, I struggled with a lot of like, you know, heartburn, a lot of really it was just stemming off from my anxiety and just like being nervous and locked up all the time. The one thing that yoga definitely provided to me was whenever you're uncomfortable, if you focus on your breathing and your posture, you're Gucci. You are as good as you need to be.
No doubt.
I went from, you know, having panic attacks, really giving presentations in like college and med school. And just, I remember just, you know, I can distinctly remember not being able to breathe. Being like, and now, of course, you know, I volunteer for such things. I love giving presentations, but I still have that nervous response. But it goes right back to, if you just breathe right and you have good posture, it literally, if your body is a car, it's like tapping those brakes, you're putting everything in alignment, and you become receptive to the situation. You're listening to the environment, and it will tell you, your body knows what to do. We usually mess that process up. But whenever we're receptive and we listen to what needs to happen, we're open to the experience. Now, all of a sudden, I can meet it with the appropriate words, actions, or thoughts that create what needs to be created in that moment.
No doubt. Like I'll add to that, like with the breathing, like when you're able to focus on your breath, especially when you are stressed or anxious, whatever it may be. One, like you can hold there's different yoga poses, of course, to hold space for yourself, but your breath. And when people say, hone in on your breath, focus on your breathing, that'll calm you down. People are like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, what are you talking about? So what I like to do as a cue, because like, I mean, for me as a yoga student, I would be the same way. I'm like, what do you mean hone in on your breath? What are you talking about? I'm breathing. These are for the people that are disconnected, right, from their bodies. So what I like to do or cue is when we're laying down, just lay down flat on your back, like you're about to go to bed. And focusing on your breath, what I mean by that is like a cue of notice the rise and fall of your stomach. And focus on the stillness of your chest. Just do those two things. You focusing on that, you quieted your mind. Your mind is still. You were able to create space, even if it was for a second. You've created a meditative, mindful state. That is what we mean by focusing on your breath and calming down. So just think if you added a second and then 2, and then it turns into 3 minutes and 4 minutes. Just imagine how much peace you were able to provide for yourself that no other outside thing was able to do. Only you possess it. So that's focusing beautiful. On there and starting there. Yeah, so that's called whenever we start busting into those states. So whenever we first start doing yoga meditation, we achieve a state of clarity where we're peaceful and calm, and then we fall out of it, and we have to keep re-engaging in those practices to get back into it. So the cool thing is, and this is where the science background comes into play, is that we do like fMRI studies of people's brains. So you scan the brain, you do yoga for 2 months, you scan the brain again. All the areas, like you literally see increased gray matter growth in the areas for
executive functioning, that's your frontal cortex,
Mm-hmm.
speech, language. One of my favorite ones is the ability to focus on singular tasks. That was very important for me at the time.
Yeah.
All over the place.
Right.
Yeah. And the other thing that is interesting is, like, of course, we can look at brain waves
Mm-hmm.
and markers, and then track those through time and watch how they literally change. So for me, I was such a skeptic. And then whenever I was looking at brains changing, all of a sudden I was like, wait a minute,
Whoa.
you're telling me I don't have to be dumb? Like, this is this is a choice I'm making. And it was just earth shattering to me.
Ooh.
And the fact that no one addressed that whenever I was in medical school, I never heard anything about that. I was like, yo, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? So I really shifted my perspective on, first of all, like, just the ancient wisdom that comes with, yoga practitioners, and how they were so experientially in the moment aware of how to correct the issue of being a human being in today's crazy ass society.
Right.
Oh gosh.
And I want to make it clear too, I think that's like what makes both of us special. But like, if I'm being honest with you, I had a freaking mental breakdown yesterday where I lost my shit and I was very overwhelmed. But literally the thing that helped me get through it, I still screamed and like had a little temper tantrum with myself. But then I also was aware and created this space to be like, hold on, I get to choose how far I want this to go. And I don't like the way I feel. So I need to go and do something to boost up my serotonin levels or dopamine levels or whatever it may be, or to calm them down. And what I had to do was focus on my breath. I had to go through a long guided meditation. Now, did I focus on that meditation the whole way through the 30 minutes? Hell no. But it's all about getting back into it if you fall out. That is the most important thing about your self-awareness and connecting with your body and creating space and peace. So just know, homegirl trips all the time. But like, it's what you do afterwards and during that really is important. So
that's the hallmark. Whenever we become more aware of our bodies and our thoughts and our mind, is now my trigger point is a lot lower than it used to be. So now I catch myself going there very early.
Yes.
And now I just don't even go there. The best way to get out of a mood swing is to just not have one.
Just not have one.
So catch it early and then start engaging in some of these practices. But I think we're coming up on kind of the end of this ordeal, but I wanted to ask, what's your schedule like, so we can all come out and do some yoga?
Yes. So I'm glad you asked. So I literally teach every day because like yoga is life, clearly. But if you ever want to go to a free class, I do yoga in the parks. Just follow my Instagram at Dragontail Yoga. It's at noon every Sunday, and we change up the parks, so it's all in the different OKC metro areas. You get to experience a different park every week. I'm also teaching, there's some news coming up in the later week, but about me teaching at a different studio space for Dragontail Yoga, so keep your eyes peeled for that. But I always have on my IG, Deanna R25 or whatever my IG name is. I don't even know what it is anymore, but I have my schedule listed up, so just come through. I don't care about the money. You just come and show up for yourself. That is wealth. That everything else will be fine.
There you go.
That's wealth right there.
Spoken like a true yogi. Absolutely. And I appreciate that, just coming from an outsider's, standpoint, as I got to watch you grow, in not just your yoga practice and in life, and nothing but mad respect and love for someone out there doing it just independent of any kind of, financial or physical means, just trying to help people and share what you were able to find yourself. So I don't know if you have any final questions for me. I know I talked a lot. So.
Yes. For anyone that's listening, like, how do we get a hold of you? Like, where's your plug and what do you offer?
You're right.
So I got some homies that are asking. So.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. So I mean, my main route of communication is through the social media platforms. So Doctor.Benergy on Instagram, and then Facebook is Benjamin Morrell. I put most of my resources on the Facebook group. So that's where people ask me questions, and I do lectures for them and all that stuff. But if you need a plug for some real game, just DM me and we'll talk. We'll talk about what we can do. I love, kind of like you, I just love helping people and investing back in. Really, I just get people to invest in their own, because they have so much talent and potential. All I really do is just help them realize that, mirror back that to them, and then put together like legit legit plans. Like, we're gonna make this shit. Like, we're gonna.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I
That's
love
a
it.
blessing.
We're doing
We'll
great
talk more about
things.
that. We'll talk more about that, Deanna. But I would love to host you on another one of these. I have a feeling that it needs to be about an hour or two, though.
I know, that went by so freaking fast.
Right. 25 minutes like that.
Just like that. But yo, thank you again for having me on here. That was really fun and informative. And yeah, until next time.
Namaste.
Namaste, my dude.
Bye.
Bye.